I'm gonna ask you one last time. What does this say?
Kansas?
We got him.
This is a real law in Arkansas. General Provisions, Chapter 4, Section 1-4-105, Pronunciation of State Name. Now, it would be irresponsible of me to genuinely imply that this is how it works, so I'll clarify that this rule only applies in official oral proceedings like in court and such. Still, that's pretty funny, right? Weird laws. There are a lot. And where better to look for some than here in the good old US of A? Because if anyone knows weird, it's us. Apparently North Carolina really takes bingo seriously. Yeah, that's right, bingo. That game played almost exclusively by elementary school children and the elderly. Anyway, it's a Class 1 felony to hold a bingo game in North Carolina without a, get this, charitable bingo license. As if it wasn't bizarre enough that such a thing even exists, operating without one is a punishable offense. So, odd question. Do you remember McCarthyism? If so, you're old. Anyway, to jog your memory, it was a widespread mindset in the 1950s and 60s that anyone you didn't like was a communist and should not be trusted. People were ostracized from society for inoffensive actions or ideologies just because Crazy Steve over there said they were commies. Look, I'm just saying, man, I think this Elvis guy's music's just a passing fad. Yeah, we got a communist over here. Now, I was under the impression that the wide-scale panic and fear-mongering over communism had fallen out of style after the Cold War ended, but evidently not. An Oklahoma state statute states... An Oklahoma state statute states that it is a fact that there exists an internal communist conspiracy. Such a conspiracy constitutes a clear and present danger to the government of the United States and to the state. Do I need to explain why this is ridiculous and paranoid? I mean, come on. Now here's one I can actually get behind. Hawaii's Urban Beautification Initiative, which restricts companies from putting up showy advertisements outdoors. The law does allow signs for local businesses and stores as well as public service messages, but strictly bars those nasty multi-million-dollar corporations from putting up ugly billboards. I, for one, am perfectly content just taking in the sights without being subliminally controlled by my corporate overlords, so this is a pretty respectable law. This one isn't, though. It is illegal to park in front of a Dunkin' Donuts in South Berwick, Maine. Why? Because the parking spots are reserved for police officers.
Why can't I park here? Official police business.
This law sounds like the punchline to a bad stand-up routine, but I'm dead serious. It is a thing. Alright, let's pivot. How about that cannibalism, huh? Quite the opener. By Idaho law, cannibalism is defined as the non-consensual eating of someone else, which means that technically, you can eat human flesh if the person gives you permission. Do with that information what you will. Before you ask, this is chicken, I'm not eating human flesh. Has anyone heard of frog jumping contests? I haven't, but apparently that's a thing. Anyhow, in California there is an express health code stating that any frog that dies during a contest must be, quote, destroyed as soon as possible. Like, it's obviously for a health reason of some sort, but that is some ruthless phrasing. I mean, the code is actually called, destroy that frog. Like, bro, who hurt you? The frogs don't deserve all that. On the topic of dead animals, wow, that is a terrible segue, I'm sorry. Anyway, in Kansas, it's illegal to shoot a rabbit from a motorboat. Well, non-motorized boats are perfectly fine, obviously, but if your boat has a motor, instant no-go, don't even think about it. In Maryland, fortune-telling is a crime. I'm honestly surprised that's only the case in Maryland, because fortune-tellers are pretty much the modern snake oil salesman. But if you try to profit from predicting people's futures, you're charged with a misdemeanor and fined up to $500. But you didn't predict that. Let's close this out with a fun one. In North Dakota, it is illegal to fall asleep in public if you have your shoes on. I would think the shoes would be irrelevant, but I guess it's perfectly acceptable to sleep in public as long as you let the dogs out. So, if there's one thing you should take away from this, it should be this. It's not a crime if you're not wearing shoes, and you can quote me on that.